Get free. I think we're live. I think.
We should be live.
Recorded or posthumous, whatever the word is.
After what, 1 month? I think
Something like that.
we're back. I think we're back.
There's a lot going on right now, believe me.
Oh yeah, a lot. Both our
section. I was gonna say section 147.
We'll do it
episode
live.
47. We'll do it live. Episode 147. Here, the two of us, all of you. We thank you for listening. 888-829-4242 is the number to get in. I'm kidding. Should the Sixers trade Chase Utley? Well, we're back. We'll think of a name at some point. But how are you this evening, sir? I'm Rob Hughes-Joel. We're all over the place. I've had a lot going on in my life the last couple of days, so it's hard for me to think. So, what's up?
Last couple of days, last couple of weeks for both of us,
kidding.
you and I.
Yeah, bro.
It's a little weird getting back on, but I'm ready.
Yep.
A lot of things have happened in sports as well.
A lot of things have happened in our lives. God.
Jesus.
Yep.
Where to begin? Well,
yeah.
I'll have a surprise at the end of the month I'm working on, so.
Okay.
It'll be a new set for sure. A new set, so.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I know you're very excited. I think that'll be the future of the pod will begin.
Yeah, I'm one of like the 4 family members that's very thrilled about this.
One of the 4 that
thrilled.
know about it.
Yeah, right. Well,
oh man,
we're here.
That's a little teaser.
Of course, our absence has been pretty pronounced, as so many people have reached out wondering why the podcast hasn't been put. By so many, I mean like 2 people I work with.
One person at work was like, "Yo, you pot still?" I'm like, yeah.
It is good background noise. It's decent background noise because I try my best to keep my voice pretty low.
Right.
And I enjoy listening to it in the car on the way home. I can only listen to the same music over and over so many times.
Yeah, I'm at that stage right now. I have it written somewhere in my notes that I have to go and filter through my music library and kick things out and add.
Dude, I did that a few months ago. It's very therapeutic, but you end up losing so much. I can't see how many songs I have.
Oh.
I have a lot. I have a good amount of songs on here in my Apple Music library.
But when I get for days and you're only on A.
Yeah, when I get bored of it, I end up but I don't know. It's just so boring to me because there's no good new music. When I get bored, I listen to our wedding playlists, and because they're long as hell. So.
Oh yeah, the wedding one.
Yeah, the cocktail hour one's like 3 times as long as the actual cocktail hour ones, and then the other one we listen on road trips generally. So.
Yeah, for some reason you can't see how many songs someone has, but it's a lot as well.
Music you can't see. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, probably hitting around 1,500.
Yeah, I bet you the same like 3 or 4 songs have the most plays for me though this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the end of the year Apple.
Oh God.
Spotify ranks.
Can only imagine. I already know what number 1 will be, but I can only imagine it's going to be like 843, 210, 63, 12, 11, 6. But yeah, we're back.
On my own, it's the very top of your list.
I don't think I've listened to that on purpose once since the Phillies got eliminated. But we'll see if they use it again this fall. Then I don't know. I don't know if they're going to bring it back though. They got a slump like they did last year because they said they got rid of it last year and then they brought it back, and now it's apparently gone again. It's like the 2nd place song. Now it's like the 4th place song, but it'll be back.
I have a bold prediction already.
Oh no!
I think by the end of the year.
Phillies get the bye and then they get swept by the Braves.
Oh, fuck off. Don't do that. By the way, we're first place by 2 games. Significantly 2 games. Not by half a game. It's 2 games.
Believe it or not, it's on the rundown.
I know. I just want people to already know what we're going to be touching on later. Pause. I have a prediction.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? I have a prediction at the end of the year.
Wait, you got to hold the belt like a briefcase.
I don't have a belt, so you can hold the belt.
What do you want to talk about?
Right. For those of you who are like on audio, go on the YouTube. We are live on YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube or on Instagram. Rob is having the Winged Eagle belt, by the way. The one that Cody kind of wants to change, yet Rob is the one holding it. So
yes, this is the has lost the most family members in the last 10 days belt, and I'm currently the champion.
I think you should have a debate with Cody. I think he would win. because the speech
Well, all he
impediment
does
of
is
his,
talk like this, and ask questions, and speak like a politician. All I have to do is just ask him a finite question. He'll never answer it. He'll just speak in circles.
or just say story.
Yeah, story time.
Story. Wrong.
Did you
For
did
the
you
bold,
notice
for the
before
bold,
we?
the bold
Okay.
prediction though. Since Def Rebel, it looks like it's going to be out. I
Mm,
think new music is going to be filtering in WWE. That you're going to be downloading new wrestling music themes,
me.
and you're going to like them a lot. That by
Why
the
don't
end
they
of the
just use
year,
real songs?
your Apple Music 3 songs will be from wrestling
It'll be Kingdom, Cult of Personality. The
and Drew McIntyre.
ironically, ironically, my first song is probably going to be Jane, which is the theme song for Orange Cassidy,
Oh yeah, you
which is
do love.
that's a great song. Yeah, his old one was great too. Where's My Mind by the Pixies.
Yeah, that was more
That,
fitting for him, I thought.
I like this one better because the second the beat drops, his name comes up on the thing, and like the 300 fans in the building will cheer for him.
The 300 people, not fans, because the
Yeah,
concession workers also
because
counted
they
the
are
300.
because they count them toward the house. I've noticed. So apparently, what they do is they count the vendors, the people working, and all of the employees that are part of the company. They
Right.
count them toward the total attendance.
And
So like
also
the
people that
officials
didn't
count,
join.
the announcers count, sock face counts, like all those guys count.
But say they sold 200 tickets, but only 100 showed up. They'll count the people that didn't show up
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
you do the paid attendance. They don't do the turnstiles thing anymore
Come on,
because
you're
they
not
got
amateurs.
exposed at Wembley. Um, where are we at? The other wrestling thing I'll toss in before we move on. AJ Styles, first person to wrestle Dusty Rhodes and Cody Rhodes, and he wore his purple tights in TNA against Dusty, and he wore purple gloves against Cody last week. So a little bit of a callback there. Terrible music, got Def Rebelled, and got no pop at WrestleMania. After LA Knight got probably the loudest one all night. And so, RIP.
That song absolutely sucks. We were there in attendance. No, were we? No, we were not.
Yeah, this is
You
night
were,
two.
dude.
He came out to some like Nation of Domination remix without the words. Like it was terrible. You don't want that.
Is that what it
And then
says?
he ran.
I don't
Yeah, and then he
want
ran to the
that.
ring. Samantha, whatever her name is, Samantha,
Corners.
whatever the fuck.
Irvin.
He couldn't get his name out. Irvin, yeah. He couldn't get his name out.
It's only 3
S-
syllables.
Samantha Ricochet.
AJ Styles.
Well, she's trying to call him the Phenomenal or whatever the heck. He sprints into the ring. Um, but all right, let's talk about sports that are predetermined,
Sure about
as we
that.
know wrestling is real. Well, the next series certainly is. Um,
Yeah.
the Knicks and
Since
Pacers.
birth.
I guess I'll start with that. I know, fires me up too. Um,
Oh, Benny.
so the Pacers have filed a complaint with the NBA and cited 78 missed calls from the first two games versus the Knicks, which includes, I believe, it was 49 or was it 39 or 40, whatever it was. It was 29 last game,
29 last game.
and I think it was whatever the
40
other one,
something.
30, 39 or 49 for the other game, which is crazy to me. I think it was 49 in game one and 29 in game two. There was that double dribble. Did you see any of the game last night?
A little bit of it. I tuned away for a second, and then they called a foul. I'm like, all right, whatever. And they call it back, and I'm like, wait, I was confused. I couldn't
Yeah.
even see the
So
play.
did you see any of game one, or at least the calls from game one?
Nah.
So there was a moving screen against Miles Turner where DiVincenzo flopped like he got
Oh,
shot.
I saw the clip.
There,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
were countless fouls with Brunson. There was a kick ball that wasn't a kick ball; it was a hand, and it killed a transition opportunity for the Pacers. Numerous Halliburton was getting destroyed in the paint, no calls. A bunch of stuff. And then game two, they called it. At this point, the game was probably done. But Hartenstein got a defensive rebound and double dribbled, and they whistled it, and then they said it was an accidental whistle and there was no infraction.
Was it a double dribble?
Yeah,
I didn't see anything though.
yeah, it was it was one of the ones where you dribble and then he put both hands and then he dribbled with both hands. He kind of caught in between. Um, he was probably thinking about pulling up from half court again.
Made it work
Um,
last time.
Yeah,
That
Brunson.
inflicted
I mean,
foul.
I understand that I'm a fan of a generational foul baiter in Embiid, and we obviously rooted for Harden for a year and a half. But Brunson is shameless. It's insane to me. He was there was another illegal screen last night where he just like barely got touched by I think it was Turner and just flopped like he got shot.
In the
Every
paint.
time he goes into the paint, he throws his head back. He headbutted Kelly Oubre, the one like I don't know. It's pretty clear to me that the NHL and the NBA both want New York and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's good
And
cinema.
the Celtics don't need help. The Knicks do.
Right. I mean, it's good cinema, and you know how it is, bro. New York in the playoffs in any sport is good for that sport.
Mm,
To have
of course, and I totally agree.
like a big city in there is great, but the way you're making it seem out, come on, like
Yeah, it was.
a couple
I don't.
games from
I'm
the
not a.
Sixers, we should have got the
Yeah,
calls, we didn't get it. Boo hoo us, we lost, whatever.
yeah,
But what we're seeing in these last two games, first two games with the Pacers, I'm like, obvious something's going on here.
yeah. I'm not a
But
big. Yeah,
kudos to the Knicks though. They didn't have Brunson last night for 20 some minutes. He left 9 minutes left in the first quarter, didn't play the entire second, and then starts the second half.
yeah.
And OG Anunoby basically will that team in the first
He's
half.
a great player. I like him a lot. He's a good example of you don't need to have like supreme talent if you really just like. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a great defender. He's decent with the ball in his hands. He's athletic. He can shoot a little bit, but he's not great at anything.
Yeah,
Um,
he's just a solid.
he's a
basketball
good
player.
example of just like a solid all around player. It's weird because Siakam's kind of similar, and they both came from the same program with Nick Nurse and the Raptors.
Well, OG seems more of a physical presence than Siakam.
OG is more physical. I think Siakam's a little bit better offensively, but OG didn't miss a shot. It felt like the entire series against the Sixers. He hit so many threes and so many pull up twos over Harris, and I don't know. I'm not a big blame the refs guy.
Are we going to mention the deafening dunk on Embiid? That kind of sealed
he barely
the deal.
He didn't even dunk on him. Embiid didn't go up with him. The idea that he dunked on Embiid is ridiculous. Embiid kind of just stayed away because he didn't want to get a foul, and then he got called for a foul anyway. I'm not a big blame the refs guy,
Right.
but and we'll probably talk. I guess we can probably just talk about it now. I'm not a big blame the refs guy, but that Sixers series, there were a couple times where I thought, okay, the officiating was lousy. The most pronounced that the officiating was poor was in Game 6 when every time Maxey went to the rim and he got practically attempted homicide every time he went to the paint. He got one call the entire series. He had that one acrobatic falling down off the backboard layup in Game 6. He was getting obliterated in Game 2. I mean, it's whatever. I understand that sometimes contact is a foul. So Brunson drawing the fouls is no different from Embiid drawing the fouls. And they're both generational and they're both shameless. But there were a lot of calls I thought that should have gone the Sixers' way that maybe went the Knicks' way, or where the officials kind of swallowed their whistles. And I don't know. And the missed timeout in Game 2 was pretty bad. I understand that Nurse apparently pump faked the timeout and then did it. So if he's faking it, you think, okay, maybe he's not going to do it. But the second, what's his name, Maxey hits the deck, someone has to be looking at the coach to try to get the timeout.
Right.
And also Maxey getting his jersey ripped by Jalen Brunson on the inbound in Game 2 should have been an away from the ball foul, or like a dead ball foul, which is one free throw and you keep the ball. So Sixers tie the series at 1 there, win Game 3, and then you're up 2-1 in your own building, and you're probably looking at least a 6-game series, or maybe even a 7-game series. But they obviously didn't execute enough. Tobias Harris going out with a whimper. His number of points kind of looked like a crumble cookie in Game 6. 0 for 2 with his second shot being a heavily contested jump shot over Anunoby from the nail, which he never hits.
You and I scored as many points as he did.
Yeah. Sixers got like 40 bench points in Game 6. It's insane to me.
Dude. I saw the one shot that he made. The second of the two shots he made, I saw. And it was a contested 3, bricked it, but Kelly Oubre with the putback. That's the only time I remember, Harris is here. And I checked at that moment how many points he had. I was shocked when I saw it then.
Yeah, he took that heavily contested shot over Anunoby at the end of the shot clock. And I think he missed a shot in the first and a shot in the fourth. That was it. Buddy Hield kind of saved him in Game 6. I love that Nick Nurse went to him. I texted you even before he did. I said, if they can get anything from Buddy Hield's corpse this night, they have a shot.
Right.
And naturally, 5 minutes later, I'm like, this is really stressing me out. I start cleaning up the trash, actually, because we ate dinner.
Right.
I'm taking the trash out. I go upstairs, clean up a little bit. And I hear, you hear Matt Corley, 3-ball. I'm like, who the heck makes threes on this team? And I'm like, Cameron Payne, maybe? I walk downstairs. I'm like, that's Buddy Hield's teeth. That's Buddy Hield on the floor. And all of a sudden, he's like 6 of 8. And he had 20 points off the bench. He only had he had 16 or 18 in the first half, and then didn't get even put into the game in the third quarter in Game 6.
And practiced by Coach Nurse there.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see a little bit more of the big lineup in Game 6 too. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but in the final 8 minutes or so of Game 5, when they won in New York, they closed with basically the starting lineup, but you remove Lowry and enter Batum, and the Knicks were not getting rebounds. because that was a bigger lineup from the Sixers, and they were also switchable. Everybody outside of Maxey was pretty switchable in that lineup.
Right.
Because he went Maxey, Oubre, Harris, Batum, and Bede. Also, while we're picking on him, I thought Harris played a pretty decent series defensively. Obviously, he's never been a good rebounder, so him getting kind of mossed on every rebound is not shocking. But I thought he played a really good series defensively, specifically against Brunson and Anunoby. I know Anunoby had a couple good shots, but Harris, I thought, was responsible defensively. It's just he can't dribble and he can't shoot. He had a good game 5 overall, but otherwise really bad. Mr. Forfan. Oubre up and down. I thought he had the one good game. Game 6 was probably his best game of the series. He had the putback dunk. He had the dunk in transition. He had a big 3 in the corner off of I think it was a Buddy Hield. Oh no, it was a Batum offensive rebound. I think. I'm forgetting a little bit. Cameron Payne also good. Just spark plug. Would love to have him for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
but they just didn't do enough. And Embiid, even in Game 5, when it looked like he was putting up one of those James Harden closeout game stinkers, comes up clutch in overtime. I think he forced like 4 turnovers in overtime. Protected the rim a couple times. I think he blocked Brunson.
And a 3-point play.
Yeah, 3-point play in overtime. That's right. He got fouled on the jumper, which again is kind of Brunson-y. So if we're going to complain about Brunson, we have to acknowledge Embiid as having been a pretty shameless foul baiter. But
right.
I don't know. Overall, it's the first time since the Toronto series in 2019 where I'm not like I'm disappointed, but I'm not mad. In 18 against the Celtics, 18 against the Celtics, it was like, okay, growing pains, kind of like this series where they were in every game, but they just lost 4 of them. 19, live with the Kawhi shot. You're upset, but you're not like mad at the team outside of, Butler kind of stinking it up in the entire Toronto series, aside from his one layup in Game 7. The bubble year, everybody was hurt, so whatever. The Hawks series, I was extremely disappointed and just mad after that game. The Heat series that it was the first time you and I spoke about the Sixers in the playoffs. Terrible. Just gave up on the Harden and Embiid, Max. They all gave up. And then last year, the Game 7 against Boston was just disgusting. And this is the first time where the point differential in the series was 1. I think it was like 450 to 449 or something like that, or 550 to 540. I forget what the number was, but it was a +1 for the Knicks. And you can't get any closer than that. They had 2 games won by basically clutch threes at the end. DiVincenzo off the couple missed fouls, but he ice in his veins at the end of the one game, and then Josh Hart left wide open at the top of the key in Game 6 and nailed it. So you tip your cap and you hope they lose next round, but you move on. The Knicks a little bit guttier, I guess.
I mean, the offensive rebounding from the Knicks as a team is just something to just it's breathtaking almost at this
Josh
point.
Hart had 17 rebounds in Game 5, didn't he?
He has played nonstop this entire postseason.
I think he played the entire game the other night too.
Yeah.
He played. I think he played 2 full games in the Sixers series, 48 and 53 minutes in the overtime game.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo played every minute of Game 6, and I think Josh Hart might have played the entire Game 1 against the Pacers.
He did.
He played all 48 of both games. Yeah.
Back to back.
He's played 41, 48, 43, 45, 53, 46, 48, 48.
Jesus.
Pretty wild. He's been very good in the playoffs, and he's the kind of player you need. I would take him here in a heartbeat.
I mean, a payday for everybody involved. He's outshining for sure. He credits it to Mike and Ike's.
He's a big Tibbs guy, too. So, I mean, he's perfect for that.
I think you said it in a text thread. I was like, I don't know how about this team, because at some point they're going to get gassed, because Tibb only plays the starters and maybe one guy. And you said,
pretty much, yeah.
His team is basically built for him.
But they do it. I mean, they did it the entire regular season. Maybe that's a thing. I understand that rest is essential, and I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth right now, because I have said numerous times at this point now, Embiid next year, I almost want to just intentionally sit him 35 games. I don't even care if he doesn't play 65. I want him playing the potentially 28 or more in the playoffs, up to 28 in the playoffs. I would sit him 40 games next year and play him for every other game. Not playing back-to-backs. Don't even send him on the road. Just get into the playoffs so he can be healthy. And because he was on one leg this series. He had whatever issues he had last year. He had the broken face 2 years ago.
That's Markelle Fultz.
The only time he was ever healthy in a playoff series was the bubble year when everybody else was hurt. And, he had the meniscus against the Hawks, and he still averaged 30 that series. I just want to see the man healthy in the playoffs one time.
Did you see Dwight Howard's comments?
I did, and I heard about them, but I didn't. I didn't hear what they actually were.
I forget the context of it, which is obviously important of it, but they were talking about Joel Embiid's
Yeah.
performance in the postseason and whatnot. He said he would benefit, Embiid would benefit if he lost weight, 20 pounds at least. It'd be lighter on his knees because he's too big right
Yeah.
now for the length of the NBA season plus postseason. If you're consistently getting hurt with foot problems and knee issues, it would do wonders.
Especially when you lower body, yeah.
Because he said he had that issue. He was a little overweight. He lost some. He said claims to have lost 30 pounds in 30 days.
Well, Dwight was always pretty lean, in spite of the fact that he was huge. Like he was never like heavy.
Sure.
And Embiid kind of looks a little pudgy, you know. But I don't think he's out of control. I agree with his comments though.
Yeah, and he said it would benefit because he went to the Lakers when he lost weight and he felt way much better, much lighter. But obviously, just never worked out there for obvious
reasons. And it didn't work out here either. I mean, he was another one of these guys that the Embiid on-off splits. I don't know what it is about it because he's had decent backups in the past. Drummond was a decent backup, albeit not in the playoffs. Paul Reed was one of the better backups this year. Yeah, he wasn't on the playoff roster, but I mean, Boban was never a bad backup. Same thing with like Greg Monroe at that point was pretty cooked, but he was not as bad as his numbers suggest in the Toronto year. Horford, same thing. Paul Reed, even like Harrell. Earlier on with Okafor, yeah, Harrell. But like I don't know what it is. Embiid was probably like a plus 40 in this series, and the Sixers without him on the floor probably like a minus 41, I guess. And in 1/10 of the minutes, and the Toronto series, I think he was a plus 60 in the Toronto series, and they were like a minus like 120 or something without him. I don't know what it is. I think teams just make a concerted effort to go to the paint when he's not on the floor because they know they can't when he is, and that's partially why his on-off splits are so drastic. Plus the Sixers, even throughout Brown's tenure, Brett Brown, Glenn Rivers, and now with Nick Nurse, they play a lot of drop coverage with their bigs, which is why these big guys can walk into threes, or if the small guys just go around the screen, they get wide open looks. And that's part of the reason that the Sixers keep losing these series. They're giving up the outside shooting is what kills them. And then obviously the rebounds too, because nobody crashes the glass. But
yeah, that's the most frustrating.
I don't know,
part, man. The rebounding is just trash. But
yeah,
this series was cinema from 1
I thought
to
it was
6.
Entertaining, yeah.
Compared to everything else that was on TV, this was great. Must watch TV.
Yeah, the only other series in the NHL or NBA that I thought was as good as this was Vegas and Dallas in the NHL because that went 7 and that was a great series. This was the only basketball series that was even close.
Knights?
Yeah, they lost.
Sorry to hear
that. Lost in 7. They lost in Game 7 in Dallas.
Brutal. I haven't watched any playoff hockey. I've just been involved in the NBA.
It's been very good. I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
As it relates to the Magic and the Cavaliers. You know how they say a series doesn't begin until a team loses at home?
Yeah.
That series never began. So did it even happen?
It was on NBA TV, I think.
The one game, I turned on the one game, the Cavs are down by like 40. I'm like, what is going on here?
Who ended up winning that anyway?
The Cavs won Game 7. They were down 18 at one point. It's the biggest Game 7 comeback in NBA history.
I mean, kudos to the Magic. I didn't think they were...
I think we're good. They're a good team.
I thought they were going to, fizzle out towards the end. Yeah. No, they stayed right there.
Well, I think what happened is a little bit of the Tibbs thing. I mean, Paolo was not built to play 38, 45 minutes a game. And Paolo in the first half of each game was solid, including Game 7. He just got gassed toward the end. They were just running the entire offense through him. Suggs is not bad. Wagner's not bad. But I think they're a year away. They're a fun team. Cavs, I don't see anything going forward. I think Mitchell's going to obviously ask out. But the Magic, I think, have a decent future.
Yeah. And who they played now? The Celtics?
They're playing the Celtics. I think they're losing right now.
0-2, I believe.
They are actually, they're up by 5. They're up 62-57 in the third quarter of Game 2. The Timberwolves winning both games on the road against the Denver Nuggets after winning the previous series.
Arrived.
I think he is cementing himself as obviously a top 10 player, maybe top 6-ish in the NBA right now. Playing like his dad. I mean, he had a few that looked just like Jordan. It was like a turnaround over the right shoulder
with the shrug.
Incredible, and it's working. The Cat and Gobert thing is working for them. Gobert is just like an elite rim protector, great rebounder. He doesn't have a whole lot of touch near the rim. So when you get in the fourth quarter, also like in that 12 to 5 minute ratio, like time before the fouls, before the intentional fouls turn into the two in the ball,
Right.
he might not be super valuable. But that's also the value in having a guy like Edwards to handle a lot of the ball, and also having Cat as your big guy, and Conley's pretty good. So they have a fun team.
There was a lot of slander with Cat,
Yeah.
but they don't win that game too without Cat because Rudy wasn't there because I think the birth of his child in France, so he left.
That's right. He didn't play game 2. Yeah.
And Cat dropped 27.
Yeah, and so Anthony Edwards otherworldly too. I mean,
he swept Booker, Beal, and Durant. Swept
that team is. I know we're jumping around a lot. That team is in dire straits right now. They have $50 million tied into each of their big 3 guys.
No draft.
I don't know if any of those 3 are tradable.
No draft.
They have 17 for Nurkic, and 15 for Ted Cruz, and that's that's like over 100% of the salary cap. No one's taking the Beal contract. I promise you, nobody's taking that deal. Durant, you can trade. I don't know what value you're getting for a 35-year-old Kevin Durant, but somebody will give you something. Booker,
would you?
No. I never think about it, but I don't know. If he's probably at the top of my list of guys that might be available that I would go after, but I don't want to trade things to get guys. I'd rather just sign a free agent. And then Booker, I think, would make sense on the Knicks, but if the Knicks go far without him, they don't need him. I don't know if the Heat would probably be in the market for a guard, but he wouldn't make sense down there. I think Donovan Mitchell makes more sense for them, but who knows? If LeBron leaves the Lakers, maybe Booker ends up a Laker. But I can't see the Suns trading within the division. There's a lot of weird variables there. And I don't know if Ted Cruz would be a decent trade chip. $15 million for a 2 guard that can play defense and shoot. Somebody would take him, but they're not going to want to trade Ted Cruz.
I think Ted Cruz was the leading scorer in 3-pointer, and then Dante was right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, Grayson Allen, for all the things you can say about him, he's always been a good shooter.
But he gasses
might be a little bit
of
he might be a little bit of a prick, but yeah.
He looks like one. He's invisible though in the fourth quarter though. I've noticed. I've watched a couple Suns games. That team always fizzles out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, they're old. They're old and they're slow, and they have Bradley Beal who you can hunt on defense every time you bring the ball down.
While we're on the Suns, and we'll quickly get off the Suns. Today they fired their head coach Frank Vogel, and naturally, there's already a replacement. Basically,
of course, that's always what happens.
No tampering, no nothing of the sorts.
How come every time somebody's a free agent, the second he hits free agency, there's 3 favors to land him, and then anytime a coach gets fired, you already know who the next coach will be.
Right.
Like when Kyle Lowry got bought out by the Heat or by whoever it was, I think it was a Hornet at that point. People were like, as soon as that happened, Shams was like, the Sixers are the favorite to land the guard. I'm like, how? Who knows this and how?
Instantly.
And the second, who's the favorite? It's Budenholzer, right?
Mike Budenholzer.
For the Suns.
After a year away.
I like Budenholzer.
I do like him too.
I thought he got fired unceremoniously by the Bucks. He helped win them the championship.
It's because they had a down year the next. It was a hangover year.
But he was always great with those Hawks teams, and he's a Popovich guy. I thought for sure he would be Pop's replacement at some point, which now it kind of looks like Brett Brown might be, which is really sweet.
We thought Becky Hammond was Brett Brown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Becky went to the WNBA, right?
Yeah, she's killing it over there.
Of course she is. She's brilliant. She probably could if teams were more open to it and maybe the chemistry would work. She could be a good NBA coach.
It's just an ego thing.
It is. I think it's weird.
It's men being there for
yeah. It is definitely a weird. She's a great assistant coach, and I thought she would make a good NBA head coach.
Right.
But the second she deals with any type of losing streaks or issues, they're going to start pointing fingers at her, not the players.
Imagine Jimmy
so
Butler.
The Suns thing.
Imagine Jimmy Butler and Anthony Edwards on the same team as Becky Hammond's coaching.
Yeah,
that practice run would be crazy.
Both of Jordan's kids. So the Suns, the reason the Suns thing doesn't work is they have 3 guys that all do the same thing. They have 3 guys that are ball dominant and need to shoot all the time. Of course, it's not going to work.
Right.
Durant going there never made sense from the get go. I don't know, that team's broken. They should just tear it all the way down. They have the assets.
He wanted to go.
Which makes no sense.
He wanted to go there.
They should just find a way. If they can, if I'm their GM, I understand it's difficult to do this. I'm trading Nurkic. 17 is not bad for a good center. 15 is not bad for Grayson Allen. I would trade him. I would see if I could find like a sign and trade for Durant. See if I can send him somewhere else. Maybe send him back to OKC. Get one of those young guys. Booker, somebody will want him. And Beal, you might not be able to dump on anybody. You maybe just like hit him with a truck or something. Say he's got a long-term injury and put him on the IR for a full season. Like what would happen anyway.
Hit him with a truck would be crazy work.
Unless you do like a sign and trade for Jimmy and maybe send Beal to Miami, and Jimmy goes to somewhere else, and you get draft picks and crappy contracts. But I don't know. I don't know what the Suns do, but they're not going to win a title with that core.
Do you say just trade him to Miami or whatever, right? Like a throwaway. I think I treat Miami like I treat the Patriots. When you go there,
Yeah,
we're not partnering. We're not doing what you did before. You're gonna follow our model. And there's a Heat culture down there, and I don't see Beal coming in making X amount of money with Spoelstra, Riley, and I think Haslam might be still around. But I just saw him on
probably.
ESPN. So
Sure, they might just retire the chair he sat on.
right.
But that's why I don't. That's why I don't think Booker would make sense there either. I think it makes
Well,
the
I think
most
he'll get
sense to
humbled. He's still young.
I think he would fit better on like a West Coast. I think Phoenix is a great landing spot for him, but they might just have to send him to the Pelicans or something. I don't know what to do with him. I think the guy that makes the most sense for Miami is Donovan Mitchell. I think he's got that killer mentality you need. He's willing to take 20, 30 shots a game even if they're not going down, and he'll get clowned for it. But I think he's got the balls to be on the Heat, and I don't think he would clash with Spo. If he does, it'll be really early in his tenure, and then after that, you'll never hear a peep about it again. Remember Jimmy got into a fight with Spo one time, and then after that, you never heard about it again?
Yeah, that's right.
And so, I mean,
kick his ass too.
Well, Haslam was going to kill him, and I think James Johnson was on that team too.
James Johnson?
He's the MMA fighter that's on the Pacers now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, shit.
Him is like his entire family's black belts. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, the Suns, they're in a world of hurt. But they have a new president or GM or whoever that is, Ishkabab or whatever.
Shish kebab.
Matt Isha, whatever it is. He's the new guy. He's the one that brought in Durant.
Is Ishbia, I think.
Ishbia, that's what it is. Ishkabab, man. I'm probably hungry. It's just the Suns are in a world of hurt, man. Booker's been there since he got drafted. Beal makes too much money. They traded an old guy for another old guy. They had CP3 there, left him. Got Beal, left him. Nurkic has been their best player there, honestly. Because he doesn't.
Nurkic's been really good.
He scores when he can, because you got 3 ball dominant people.
They get good play from their role players, but not their starters. It's weird. I mean, I don't know.
They need spot up shooters.
Yeah, they should they need to pick 2 of those 3 guys, which right now it's going to have to be picked between Durant and Booker because they can't move Beal. It's going to end up being Booker and Beal, and they have to find a point guard that can shoot and play defense, a 4 that can stretch the floor and play defense, and Nurkic. And I don't think it's going to work. They've too many guys that do the same thing. It just doesn't work. I mean, Durant's dynamic, but he's not as spry as he used to be. He's pretty ball dominant, which Booker is too, and so is Beal. But Beal's not talented enough anymore. And Booker's, too iffy. If they were even just to trade Booker for Mitchell, straight up, I think that would help their dynamic a little bit. But I don't think it would do a ton. I think that I don't know. Find a way to get out from underneath Beal, which is almost impossible. And then I think Durant and Booker should be available this offseason.
If not available, at least have your phone.
Yeah, accept the calls on them.
Yeah,
I think I just broke my drawer. Let's jump into some other news and notes before we touch on the Phils.
Right.
And then we'll do a stay and go on the Sixers, and then we'll wrap it up.
Copy that.
The Flyers, Sean Couturier, his name has come up recently in trade rumors.
Naturally.
It seems like the Flyers are maybe interested in moving him and his a little bit larger deal than they would hope for another player with a kind of an unnecessarily large deal. They need wingers in the worst way. They have, Farabee's okay. They have Konechny, they have Tippett, but they don't have like that generational kind of stuff. They don't have like that elite goal scorer. So if they can maybe go get like a Patrick Laine or something, a guy on a bigger deal that can score, and the toughness in the middle, which Couturier doesn't really provide for them. He's a good penalty killer, but he fell out of favor with Tortorella. So we'll see what happens. He was named captain this February. I think one of his first games as captain was the outdoor game we attended.
I believe so.
So
now
I don't know what to make of it. I don't think he gets moved though. What do you think?
Well, I don't know too much about it, But I mean, I think he'll get moved. If you really have a dire need, it's wings, and he's a big contract and a good name and a decent player. You can get some value while he's still hot right now. Get some good value for him. You don't want to be in
Yeah,
that
it
position
doesn't.
where you are desperately needing it now. Teams have the upper hand. Kind of see what you can get
Yeah,
for him.
the thing that doesn't make a ton of sense is they have him, then they have Lawton, who are probably their two biggest trade chips, but they're both centers. So if you lose both of them, then all of a sudden you have a need at center. And unless they're getting a Trevor Zegers from the Ducks or Sam Reinhart, who I don't even know if he plays center anymore, he's been more of a wing with Florida. They have to figure it out in the middle too,
Yeah,
because I don't believe Michkov's going to translate as a center to the NHL.
they have the 12th
He'll be
pick.
in. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they use that to move up or down. Probably down,
Now Howie's
but
not there.
I think they do find a center this year somehow, a number one center that isn't Couturier, and I think they move Lawton at the draft. So the Flyers, they have to figure something out because I know that they weren't expecting to make the playoffs. But once you are in a playoff spot for 75% of the season, you are expected to get in. So
Right. No
them playing
excuse.
apart was pretty sad. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that ending was just. All right, next
Uh,
up, we got here. Ooh, this is exciting news. Pirates' first round pick, Paul Skeens, I believe,
Skeens.
to make his MLB debut this Saturday at home versus the Cubs,
Very exciting.
facing Javier Assad, who leads the NL in ERA since the beginning of last season. That's
One
wait, let me
trivia
say that again.
fact. Yeah,
Who
Javier
leads
Assad.
the NL in ERA since the beginning of last April?
I believe it's among qualifiers, so probably like 140 innings or so.
What?
Yeah, Javier Assad. He's been
Holy
fantastic the
shit.
last 2 years. Yeah, among starters, I'm sure there's relievers that have a better ERA.
Oh,
I
if I
think this is.
didn't. One last thing. Sorry about that. I
Go ahead.
forgot to mention this. If I didn't already mention this, to make it more of a bigger deal, he's the most anticipated MLB pitching debut since Steven Strasburg.
In my opinion, yes.
Whoa.
The only other big, so if you think about all the big pitchers right now, Garrett Cole is
Dead.
probably the best pitcher in baseball.
Dead.
DeGrom, yeah,
Dead.
well, he's also dead. Yeah, so DeGrom, when he got called up, was not a big deal. He was just like a
He
guy.
wasn't?
They knew he was going to be something, but they didn't think he was going to be that. So
Okay.
when he came up, it was kind of almost overshadowed because I think the guy he faced was, I think it was Chase Whitley from the Yankees, who was also debuting that night. So the Yankees and Mets debuted the pitchers. DeGrom pitched well and then eventually ascended to what he was. Matt Harvey's debut was pretty anticipated.
Yeah.
Um,
Same team.
I mean, if we're not counting the Japanese imports or like the Jose Fernandezes of the world, like anybody that came over from other countries, Fernandez was pretty anticipated, but I don't think that many people knew about him beforehand.
Sure.
Skiing's been talked about for like 3 years. And Strasburg was the last big pitcher to get drafted, first overall, mind you, and then get to the majors, I think, a year later. Skeens was drafted last year. The Pirates have almost been kind of sheltering him. They're very fortunate because they have another kid named Jared Jones who's absolutely phenomenal. And if they had a good, decent lineup and a good bullpen, they would probably be pushing a playoff spot right now because Skeens profiles as a number one and Jones profiles as like a really good number two. So,
Really?
and then Mitch Keller is not bad either, and he's their number three. So Skeens, I think, is the most anticipated outside of Otani, outside of Darvish, some of these other guys. The most anticipated, might even be the most anticipated debut in the last few years. I know Bobby Witt was pretty sensational. Trout and Harper, big deal 10 years ago, but I'm trying to think of who else had a big debut. Like, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this game.
Vlad Jr.
Vladdy, a little bit, but he came up like the middle of the season. For the
Rushman? Adley?
Adley might be the other one. Adley was pretty. That got a lot of eyeballs in the team, and they immediately became a great team after that. Like, they went,
Right.
I think they played like 550 ball after that, and then they made the playoffs last year as the number 2 seed in the AL.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know too much about Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens is phenomenal. If you just look him up on Twitter, you'll see plenty of pitches. He sits at 101. Just nasty stuff, filthy. I mean, unfortunately, when you throw that hard, you're going to run into issues. And I think 10 of the 11 hardest throwing pitchers from last season have all been hurt this year. So it is concerning. But Paul Skeens is he might be the real deal, which means he'll get crushed on Saturday. So,
Well, I hope he does well. Honestly.
yeah, me too. I'm excited about him.
I'll keep an eye on
I
it
just
for
for
Saturday.
just for fun. Let me see what tickets are going for and stuff up for the Pirates on Saturday.
Oh, dude, I saw front row, home plate, that area, over 5,500.
For the Pirates?
Yeah, for the Saturday, I didn't get it, and then I realized now it's because of the pitching prospect.
Yeah, these aren't too bad. So yeah, decent prices right now.
That could have been overblown, but
Yeah.
look behind home
Well, the
plate.
close seats are expensive, but yeah, the higher up ones are pretty lousy.
I think home plate was like 5,500. I was like, Jesus,
Wouldn't be
for a
surprised.
Pirates game? I guess it could
It's
have
a big
continued.
deal. Skeens is a big deal. Jared Jones is a big deal too. There's a lot to be excited about for them.
Well, another young pitching prospect that's becoming a big deal is the A's closer Mason Miller, drawing trade interest. And as we know, the A's are cheap. They're looking
Yep.
to get out of Oakland. They're trying to, do their thing. Would it be wise to move him, or do you keep him for some buzz,
So,
or hold out
so the thing
later?
with Mason Miller, yeah. So the thing with Mason Miller is he came up a starter
Sure.
and he pitched I think in like 6 games last year. I had him for a little bit in fantasy. Then I think he got sent back down, and then he came back up. And then coming into this season, they're like, we're moving to the bullpen. Probably going to be the closer. My first instinct was, why do you need a closer when you're winning 40 games? And why are you moving your best starter to the bullpen as your closer? But he's been lights out. He's been the best pitcher in baseball this year, statistically. His FIP is in the negatives, which is unheard of. If it stays that way, I think he'll be the only closer in modern baseball history to have a negative FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, which means his fielders are the only reason that runs are being scored.
Oh my
Because
god.
that takes into account home runs, strikeouts, and walks. The three things pitchers have a direct correlation with. There's no dependence on fielding.
That's hilarious.
So it's crazy. But I don't know if because they're in one of these weird things where anytime a team gets a new ballpark or they relocate, they always do the thing where they tear it down, and then they try to get the team to be competitive for when they move. And I think that's what they're doing. So I wouldn't be. This is probably the highest value he'll ever have because he's probably headed toward TJ like everybody else.
Yeah.
And don't need a closer when they're winning. They'll probably win like 70 games this year because they have been decent. Their pitching's carrying them a little bit.
70?
They have a great bullpen, and
Wait.
their rotation's been solid. And I think that they could win. They'll be under 500, but they'll be decent. But this is the team. The ownership group and everything. They're going to trade Rooker. They're going to trade Geloff. I'm sure they'll probably trade this kid. They'll trade Stripling, Alex Wood, all the guys that they have that make anything more than the league minimum salary. I think that they will find a way to move. Unless they get blown away with a package on Mason Miller. The only player I can think of that is similar to him is when the Phillies traded Ken Giles in 2000, whatever it was, 15 or 16, because young teams usually don't need closers when you're rebuilding because the closer is really almost a luxury. Right. How many great closers are on terrible teams? The only one I can think of is maybe Diaz, but that's not because the Mets weren't trying to win. It's because they just kind of fell off. So if you list out the top 10 closers in baseball, they're probably all on playoff teams. Hater, but that's also the Astros are trying to win, but they're just not.
No. When he was Milwaukee.
Well, they were still a playoff team at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
So he went to San Diego, and then San Diego he went to.
He was not very good there either.
Former Sheldon.
And he's gotten bombed a little bit this year. Kimbrel's also getting destroyed this year with
Did you see this latest outing?
The Orioles. Oh my God! Every time I see his name on Twitter, it's him getting hurt. It's him getting bombed in the playoffs.
To the Nationals, baby.
Or bombed in the ninth inning. I'm sorry, not the playoffs. My mind's all over the place.
Well, hey, Oriole fans, we've been there. It's gonna be a rocky season unless you fix that problem.
Yeah.
Who's our closer?
And right now, I think it's.
Take a look at him.
I think it's Jose Alvarado. He's a guy I would think about though, because you don't even need him to be the closer. You can just be a reliever for you. It gives you the right, left, and with Sir Anthony being so. You'll have to give something up. You might have to give up Aiden Miller, the young third baseman, or maybe give up. It seems like they've already kind of given up on Griff McGarry. Yeah, they could put together a trade package for him. I don't think it'll be A-level prospects, but it'll take some guys
to make the pitching even better. So I know we want to touch on the Phillies. Oh yeah, we have one more before we touch on the Phillies.
Yeah, one more baseball thing here.
Forgive me, Ippei Mizuhara, aka Shohei Ohtani's former translator, pled guilty to bank and tax fraud. He stole, Jesus, 16.98 million, basically two shy of 17 million. Impersonated Shohei Ohtani to the bank 24 times. How does that go by? Definitely not in
I don't
person.
know.
If it's in person,
I
just
think it
know
was
that you
over
don't
the
know.
phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pocketed 60K from Shohei that was gifted to him for dental work. Come on, my guy. I don't even want to read anymore. This guy's a shithead. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You pocketed 60K because he's gifted you to fix your teeth, and you say, "Nah, B."
Give me Arsenal money line.
Right against Bayern or somebody. Bookie he wired money to is a quote unquote Real Housewives of Orange County cast member Ryan Boyahian. Boyahian? I don't know. Facing up to 33 years in prison and a $1.25 million fine. Lionsgate is developing a TV series about this betting scandal. That's a mouthful. It's getting late,
Yeah.
but wow, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot left to say about him, but
What a dickhead.
yeah, so I guess the fall guy thing, he's probably beating those allegations at this point. Do you want to do a little bit of stay and go for the Sixers and then run through some free agents?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So stay and go. Let's go. Let's do these rapid fire.
Yeah.
I think this one's pretty
Gone.
easy. Okay. Tobias Harris, he can go. Thanks for being a nice guy. Thanks for not showing up in game sixes or game sevens. D'Anthony Melton.
That is the closest I'll ever be to J. Cole. That's all.
True. D'Anthony Melton.
Gone.
For the right price, I keep him. Kyle Lowry.
Love to have him, but gone.
Good regular season player. I would keep him for the right price. Nick Batum.
Keep at
Of
all
course.
cost.
Cameron Payne.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I love him.
For the right price.
Buddy Hield. Yeah, Buddy Hield. True.
Same here. I would keep in a heartbeat.
I would keep him too.
Right price.
Paul Reed. This is a little bit of a weird one.
I would restructure his contract for less pay. If not, see ya.
Yeah, his money's not guaranteed. So the only way his money would have been guaranteed is if the Sixers made it to the second round this year. It was like a clause in his deal, and of course they didn't. Mo Bamba.
Get the fuck out of here. No,
Yeah,
Mo Bamba. Get the fuck out of here.
And then Kelly Oubre.
Oh, keep, please.
Yeah, I think he's getting like 2 years, like 34 million. I don't know if that's going to be too much for the Sixers to retain him, but he had so many nice things to say about Nick Nurse. So, and Buddy Hield seems to want to stay.
Yeah.
Some of these guys. So, what's next for the Sixers? They have $65 million in cap space, approximately, with Embiid the only guaranteed player under contract. They do have a cap hold on Tyrese Maxey as he just finished his rookie deal. So they're holding, I think, whatever the max number is for him. He'll sign, but it'll probably be in August, I think, because to keep him, you can go over the salary cap because he's your own guy. So I think they're going to fill the roster out and then get him signed.
Right.
Paul Reed is non-guaranteed. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him, but he could also be guaranteed and then used as a trade piece in a deal to get either like a Lowry Markkanen or a Jimmy Butler if they go that direction, or even LeBron. And then you said you have a list of free agents and potential targets. I can also contribute to that.
All right. I'll be transparent. I forgot Larry Markkinen was on my list. I don't know what position he plays, but we'll start there. Rapid fire. Larry Markkinen.
I would do it. It'll probably take Paul Reed and a couple picks, but I would do it for sure. I think Markkinen would be a great third guy with Maxey and Embiid.
Likewise. All right, number 2 on the list. This is going to go from like top players to role players in a way. All right. Number 2. El King. LeBron James.
Ugh, I kind of don't want him, but I don't want to do this again is the reason I don't want him. And also, if he comes here, it won't be a Sixers championship. It'll be a LeBron championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it won't feel like an Embiid thing. Unless he really takes a backseat to Embiid and Maxey, which he won't. I also don't know how it'll work. There's only one basketball, and it's already kind of difficult for Embiid and Maxey to share it. I don't know how bringing in a ball dominant wing
How about
is
this?
going to affect things.
LeBron James comes with his son Bronny James. They somehow make a deal to get Bronny James in Philadelphia.
Makes the team even worse. He'll probably be there at 16 or whatever they're picking at,
All right.
but that would make the team worse.
I already know your answer, but for the sake of the podcast, Jimmy Butler.
No, no.
All right, Brandon Ingram, small forward, power forward. Come on now.
He's a really interesting one, but probably no. I don't think he's the third guy. I feel like he hasn't really gotten any better since he joined the league. Like he came in a very unfinished product, and he still is an unfinished product. Like he's it's like the kid that's waiting on his growth spurt and never actually gets it. Like if he went to a better program other than the Lakers when he got drafted, I think somebody could have turned him into something.
Right.
Where like you could squint and kind of see a little Kevin Durant in his game, but he never really became anything. He just became a decent point forward with an okay three and like kind of shitty free throws.
Gotcha.
And he's an okay defender, but he's still tiny. Like you can blow right through him. Pause. But no, I'm okay on him. No disrespect to him, but I just don't think he's the third guy. He's like the fourth guy on a championship team. I'd rather have Kelly Oubre than Brandon Ingram.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Paul George, who's
no
heavily.
No, if the playoffs didn't exist and all that mattered was the regular season, then I think he would work perfectly. But he's another one of these guys with that hardened stench on him, where every time there's a big game in the playoffs, he comes up small, and that is important.
Yeah.
And I know that Morey wants him. I think he fits really well with Embiid and Maxey, all things considered. He's a wing that can dribble, he can play defense, he can shoot, he can take over a game, he can close the game. But in the playoffs, he comes up small, and I don't want that.
Agreed.
If you said Jimmy or Paul George, I would take Jimmy, and I don't even like Jimmy.
You.
Paul George would be great as the third guy in the regular season, but think about this: what number is he going to wear? He's not going to wear 13. It's retired for Wilt. 24 is retired for Hal Greer. So what number is he going to wear? Can't be PG-13 anymore. And 3 is retired for AI. He's not wearing 31. That shit's ugly.
PG-33.
33 it hurts from Covington and
by the
Toby.
way, Rocco, do you keep Rocco?
Oh, I would for the right number. I don't think they will, but I think he'd be fun. Morey likes him a lot because he had him in Houston too. I like Rocco. I think he's the perfect like small 5 when you don't want to go super small, but you don't want to run out of big like a big as your 5.
Right. All right, next on the list, Klay Thompson.
No.
We're not talking starting 5. We're talking on the team.
I don't
see him as a starter.
I don't think he would be a bench player. He's going to end up on like the Magic.
He does like to go to the Magic. He has interest in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would make perfect sense then. I mean, the Lakers also make a little bit of sense for him. I don't think he's coming here. You think he's done in Golden State?
Yeah, he is. There's mutual interest between the Magic and him. He wants to go.
Are you serious? They really? Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. I thought he fit there really well, and it makes total sense.
I would like him as a spot up shooter off the bench, and he can take over a game.
How old is he now? He's what, 34?
Yeah, but
so he'll be.
Yeah, but
he'll be 35 by the time the playoffs start. He's older than Paul George.
But here's the thing: those 34-year-old legs are feeling like 40 because he's been in some playoff grueling matchups.
Yeah, respectfully, no thank you on him.
All right, Pascal Siakam, power forward.
Probably not. I don't think he fits. I think your third guy has to be a guy that's capable of shooting off the catch, and I don't think he fits. He's an interesting player. I like him, and I like Anunoby a lot, but I don't think either of them fits particularly well. Especially if you're going to hand out a max deal.
Well, you just answered.
So respectfully, with respect to him, no thank you.
Well, you just answered my next guy, OG Anunoby, who's also.
I feel like Anunoby fits better here. I think because he's a better spot up shooter, and it doesn't take him as long to get the shot off, and he's more athletic, and I think he's more. I think Siakam's more switchable, but I think Anunoby's a more tenacious defender. Anunoby would, I think, fire. I think he's got a little Jimmy in him where you can fire up his teammates.
Right.
Siakam, I wonder if he can be the alpha personality. But I do like OG, and I don't think he's getting a max, but I do like Anunoby a lot.
I think he has a player kind of deal where at the end
I think he has a player option. Yeah,
he can choose.
Which he might opt out and just get. I think the Knicks would be foolish not to pay him. He's perfect there. He's a perfect Tibbs. Him and Josh Hart are perfect Tibbs guys.
Right. All right. Another ex-Toronto guy. Maybe he is in Toronto. Gary Trent Jr., shooting guard.
I kind of like him. I think he'd fit here. He'd be like an upgrade over Buddy Hield, I think. I would take him.
Boom. Same. Here we go. First big of the night. Jonas Valanciunas.
I actually thought I mentioned him to a coworker recently. I would love him as the backup five, but I think he gets a starter's deal somewhere else.
Yeah, he's smart.
Valanciunas, and I don't know if this guy's on your list, but my desired backup five, even though he's under contract right now, is Steven Adams.
Oh, I forgot.
If you're gonna get a five, you need a guy that can just like is a brick wall, set screens, and just knows how to win. Steven Adams is my ideal backup five next
And
year.
he seems
Get
to be
him from
cool,
what?
calm, and collected under pressure.
Yeah, I know he's hurt. I don't know what team he's on at this point because he's been on like six in the last
Memphis.
5 years. It's either Pelican or Grizzly. Yeah, I would call them. Hey, you want Paul Reed? I will trade him right now for Steven Adams.
Right. Here's one. Former Clipper shooting guard Luke Kennard.
Yeah, I would take him.
Boom.
Yeah, that he fits perfectly.
Malik Monk shooting guard for the Kings.
I would love him too. Yeah, he would be basically a bigger Cameron Payne.
Pause.
And he was good on the Lakers. He was good on the Kings. Where's he now?
I think he's on the Kings.
As he stays, I would take him in a heartbeat.
Man.
He's got balls of steel. I would take him in a heartbeat. I like him a lot.
Same. All right, center. Nicholas Claxton for the Nets.
Maybe, but probably not.
All right.
I think he would end up. I think he ends up on like the Jazz. He just feels like a Utah Jazz guy.
Gotcha. This guy might get re-signed with this team, but for the sake of it, Moritz Wagner, center, Magic.
I would, but yeah, he's staying there.
Isaac Okoro.
I
believe that's the Cavs.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really like him that much. I think he would fit okay, but I don't know.
Daniel Tice.
Yeah, he'd be fine here. He would be an older guy when they got him, but I would take him. Daniel Tice, I feel like, is another guy that's kind of an ideal Embiid backup because he's also a guy that knows how to. Yeah, he knows how to defend Embiid too, which is helpful. I think Adams would help with that. The Drummond thing helped Embiid a lot. Even though Drummond got crushed Embiid, but that worked out well for him.
All right, I have maybe 10 more names, maybe less. Bear with me. Caleb Martin, sure. Small forward, Miami Heat.
Yeah, why not? I like him.
We talked about this through text. Obi Toppin.
Oh, I would love him here.
Yeah.
He's putting up 29 off the bench for the Pacers. I don't think they let him leave, but yeah, I like him a lot.
I think he wants to go to a bigger market. He was with the Knicks.
He was with the Knicks, yeah.
I think he wants to go back.
He would get to play the Knicks, 6 times a year if he came here, so.
Right. Mason Plumlee.
Oh, yeah, I think he'd be a decent backup for Embiid.
Right.
I don't know. He's kind of old now, but, I mean, still.
That was the last of the bigs.
Okay.
So now we got forwards and a couple point guards. Sadiq Bey. I would take Sadiq Bey.
It depends depends who I'm keeping among the guys that are free agents currently. Like,
Sure.
It depends if I'm keeping any of Payne, Lowry, or Hield, or any of those guys. Why not?
Why not? Cam Reddish.
I like him. I liked him in college. I don't know what he is in the NBA, but my gut says no. Yeah, my gut says no. Did he get traded for like Kevin Knox or whatever?
I think so.
Thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Knox.
Yeah, 2 guys that just didn't turn in anything. I liked Kevin Knox coming out too.
I didn't mention this, but Quickly could be another one on the list.
Oh, he's at the top of my list. I love Emmanuel Quickly. I mentioned this before. I think last year I would take him in a heartbeat here. He'd be the perfect like second Maxey almost. Like,
right.
I think he gets good money from a good team. Like I could see like
he's more of a starter.
I could see Minnesota paying him. Like he's a starting point guard. I think on some teams he's been great. He got traded to. He was in the OG deal, right?
Yeah.
It was Quickly and Barrett.
Yeah. Yep. You're correct. All right. Next one. Sam Hauser, small forward. He plays for Boston though.
Nah, no more white guys on this thing. White guys are always terrible here. Who was the last good white Sixer? Redick, I guess.
Keith Van Horn. Well, then this is.
I have a Keith Van Horn jersey. Fun fact: I have a Keith Van Horn jersey that I'm not wearing until the parade happens.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
I will be wearing that to the parade. It's at my mom's house still.
Jose Alvarado.
Yes.
Same.
He's Lowry but younger.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah,
all right,
easily. Yeah, I think the Pelicans keep him though.
Final 3.
You know. I'm sorry. Do you know who Alvarado would be perfect on?
Minnesota.
The Heat.
Oh, Spanish baby.
He's like the perfect. Oh, that's true, but yeah. Or coming out of the bullpen. Could you imagine if both of them were in Philly? Him and the other one, Jose Alvarado.
Oh Jesus Christ! Gimme. Patty Mills.
Nah, too old now.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Nah.
And if you told me this 3 years ago, I would have taken him. Now, probably
Yeah,
not.
same with Dinwiddie and friggin' Patty Mills.
Yeah, same. Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah, same thing. 3 years ago, yes, but no.
And that's it.
I have a few names for you as well.
Oh, here we go.
Gordon Hayward.
Fuck no.
DeMar DeRozan. Baby.
DeRozan?
Can't be the third guy, in my opinion.
If he's going to take a significantly less deal, sure. Why not?
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, he would fit okay, but I think it would be Tobias, just a little bit more spry.
Fuck.
Bruce Brown.
Yes.
I don't think Toronto lets him leave, but yeah, me too. Evan Fournier. A little bit older now. He's 30. He'll be 32 by the time the season starts.
He can be my Cork Maz.
He's like him and Caleb Martin. Some of these other guys are like the one guy on the bench that can just come in and spark plug the entire second unit in the playoff game.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell. Unlikely to return to the Lakers.
Away from me.
No. We're gonna skip Fultz. KCP.
Why not? Yeah.
I feel like he's one of those guys. I'll say yes to, but I feel like he's one of those guys where his reputation in our brains is different from what he actually is. So if he were to come here, we'd be like, oh, fuck, man, this guy sucks. But, like, from afar, you go, yeah, I would love that guy in a heartbeat.
Right.
Let's see. Who else we got? PJ Tucker's a fun one. Joe Ingles, who I just learned is on the Magic.
He's a little older for me, but...
Yeah, he's a little old. He can dribble, though.
I just want a bench that can put up more than 8 points.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
So, Malik Monk, Monte Morris both work for that. Kyle Anderson.
He could be a spark plug.
He feels like a Sixer to me. For some reason, he just feels like a Sixer. He's with Minnesota right now.
Forgot a name. You might have this on your list. One Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, it would cost too much to get him. I don't know.
That's your third.
He's kind of he's a little shielded by the fact that he's on the Nets, but I don't think he's improved as much as people think he has.
Eesh.
Let's see. I'm just trying to find Hartenstein, yes, in a heartbeat, but I don't think the Knicks let him leave.
I don't want that fucking guy.
Jeff Green. Of course, Jeff Green feels like a Sixer.
Willie Green.
Daniel Tice.
Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
The Bucks.
What about Taurean Prince?
I don't know much about his game.
Like a little bit of a 3-and-D, but just not particularly great at either.
If it's an upgrade from our bench, sure. I just need scorers and defenders.
You might have to hear me out on this one, but I think I'm going to say yes to it. What about Kevin Love?
Yes.
I think I would take him. I know he's a fossil at this point.
A champion, a veteran presence, a shooter still. Spot up.
Andre Drummond.
I bring him back. He's still young.
Yeah, me too. He's only going to be 31 at the beginning of the season.
And he was productive.
Derek Jones. Yeah, he was very good here. What about Derek Jones Jr.?
I have no idea who that is, to be honest.
He's the really lanky, dunky guy from. He actually grew up here. He dunked on Fireman Joe's friend in high school. He was on the Heat for a bit. He won the dunk contest for the Mavericks right now. What about Eric Gordon? Another guy just feels like a Sixer.
No, the Suns. Eric Gordon? No.
Yeah, he's on. Where's he now? Yeah, he's the Sun right now.
He reminds me of a PJ Tucker that can shoot.
No. Jay Crowder.
We've never seen him make a shot.
I've never seen him make a shot. Pat Bev.
We're on record for that. Huh?
Pat Bev, who, mind you, is going to be suspended for 4 games at the beginning of next season for throwing the basketball at the fan.
Because they sang Cancun. Pat Bev.
I got the notification. I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Oh, that's right. He's eliminated.
Yeah, bring him back.
Holy shit. Justin Holiday's 35. I'm just trying to see other names here. Tristan Thompson is a backup 5. No. Markieff Morris, no. Reggie Bullock, no. What about Precious Achua?
Bless you.
Thank you.
What's the question?
I think he's Precious Achua.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Let me see.
We'll just do that for the next 9 minutes.
Maybe.
It
has to be if we get nothing at this point.
Yeah, Josh Richardson. I don't really have interest in him. Boban's a free agent, but he's old.
I take Boban.
Cameron
Why
Payne, Josh Okogie. What about Dario? Would you bring him back?
Yeah.
Lakers are making a push to sign LeBron until he retires.
How about Josh Giddey?
Excuse me?
Nothing.
No, I have too many small nieces and nephews. I don't want to.
So do
Did I
I.
ask you about Dario already?
Yeah, I take him back.
Yeah, I would keep him. I think quickly he's going to be re-signed by the Raptors. And then maybe a couple names here. Dennis Smith Jr. Not really interested.
Well, that's if he wants to stay in fucking Toronto.
Drew Eubanks would be interesting. Lonnie Walker, would you have interest in him?
No, I've seen
I don't
enough of
know.
it.
Aaron Holiday, who's 28 already. That's crazy. Would you want Thanasis and his torn Achilles?
No.
I asked niece earlier, how do you tear your Achilles clapping? But I don't know if anybody really has the answer to that. Uh, did you already ask me about Jackson Hayes?
No.
Or I just confuse him sometimes with Nick Claxton. Jackson Hayes, I think, is good, and he's really young. He's only going to be 24 at the beginning of next season. I would take him.
Yeah, why not? If he's young,
That'll be the
sure.
last guy that I ask. But I think, and last guy I'll ask about is a player that was a free agent at the end of the season. It has not really worked out anywhere he's been since Washington. Former most valuable player of the National Basketball Association, Russell Westbrook. He would be the most volatile free agent signing in Sixers history. Like if you thought Horford was bad here, just imagine a shorter Horford with less bounce or more bounce and less shot selectability or whatever.
Westbrook, Pat Bev, Jimmy
Oh,
Butler, all on the same team,
and Jose Alvarado,
and Alvarado
the basketball one.
in Philly with taunting from the opposing fans or our fans.
They might
Basketballs will
actually
be
have to
thrown.
forfeit a game. They might actually have to forfeit a game
Yeah, because people will
for
be
not having enough
escorted.
players left.
We might even
Yeah.
make the floor seats.
Yeah,
So many
right.
people getting kicked out. We might just well just make it
Yeah.
down there ourselves.
There's Malice at the Farg.
That doesn't even.
So that's the list. I think that they got a lot of money to spend this offseason, so we'll see if they do it properly.
Daryl Morey.
Yeah,
Stop
you're on the
thinking
hot
with
seat,
the
my
other
friend.
head,
Well, maybe
man.
not the hot seat, but this is a really pivotal offseason.
To be honest, I have no faith in Daryl Morey.
I don't know if I do either. I kind of do, but I kind of don't.
That
I
Harden
got
deal just
negative 23 from two of my starting pitchers today in fantasy baseball. Great.
you're off to a wicked start.
Hate my life.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have no faith in Morey. I think he's gonna go for Paul George. He might even try to get Kawhi too, which makes no fucking sense. So yeah, I'm over it. What do we have on the docket for next week? Anything?
I guess the Phils. Maybe we'll dive a little bit into what's working for them, or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll have another funeral to attend. We'll see.
Jesus.
We'll see. Not sure. Hopefully good stuff next week.
One bold prediction
Oh,
before.
actually, I do have one
Ooh.
issue next week. I will be attending Philadelphia Phillies baseball game next Thursday, so we will have to record either late Wednesday or I guess early on Saturday. I guess I don't know.
We'll figure
Yeah,
it
we have
out.
a friend coming down. Yeah, we have a friend coming down from New York, and it's a Mets game, so not that friend. No, we have a friend coming down from New York who
Sure.
has never been to Citizens Bank Park,
Oh, okay. The other
but it's a
one
Mets
was.
fan. It's like a partner of a friend of ours. So it's really not the friend we have is residing here, but their partner is coming down from New York. Is a Mets fan. We will torment them.
Female.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough said. I got you. No worries. No worries.
Apparently used to work for Emily, which is really, really cool.
Really?
So I'm excited to hear the stories about that. Yeah.
If you get a chance
But
to.
we will fight. We'll figure out a day to do next week.
For sure. All right. One bold prediction that will happen between now and the next time we record. Because you know something's going to happen the moment we sign off YouTube. And
we will get JJ Redick will be the new Lakers coach.
Bastard. You took the same answer. I was going JJ
Did I
Redick.
really? I'll go.
No,
I'll go
keep it at
Durant.
that.
Durant request a trade then.
Nah, come on. Keep the JJ one.
I got the Redick one.
That's funny.
That's not really bold. Is that bold though?
Yeah, because he came out and said no.
He said no. Oh, then it is bold. Okay.
I believe he came out and
No,
said
no, it's going to be a different one. Marco Bellinelli will be the new Lakers coach next year.
Oof. Oh,
But he's only able to start coaching with like 4 minutes left in the first quarter because he's a bench guy. Anybody can be better than Darvin Ham, but at some point, LeBron's a coach killer because this is what, like 7 coaches in 10 years.
But he's also elevated coaches.
He went through what? Blatt, Lou, Walton, Vogel,
Blatt.
Ham.
You said Blatt yet?
No, David Blatt, yeah.
Yeah, David Blatt.
The only coach that ever had stability with him was Spo, and that's because Riley chose Spo over LeBron.
Smart move.
Said, no, you're not firing my coach. My coach is my identity.
He's like, remember, I run this.
Yeah. Shut your mouth.
Oh, one last thing before we sign off. Wholesome moment here. Reese Hoskins. His dog is in attendance tonight at American Family Field in Milwaukee.
Yeah. He had a home run tonight, too.
Did he now?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him back here.
I love him. I was very upset. He didn't. I think I either texted you or a friend of mine to put money on Hoskins to get a hit when I was in Milwaukee, and he went like 0 for 5 with like 3 strikeouts.
I think it was with me.
That was the worst game I've ever attended. That was so dead. They won on a walk-off bases loaded walk, which is just the perfect encapsulation of my trip. My trip was bookended by the White Sox getting canceled 20 minutes before first pitch, and the Brewers winning on a walk-off walk.
But your wife was very happy with the nachos or whatever.
The tacos. Yeah, they were setting off fireworks inside, which I was terrified. I was like, this has to be a mistake. The dome is closed and they're setting off fireworks.
That's as bad as rain inside the Arizona Diamondbacks field. That is just...
or the bees.
Oh, Jesus. Cleveland.
Good news for us. So the next time we attend a Philadelphia Phillies baseball competition, new ice cream helmets at Citizens Bank Park this year. They are white with a green brim, and it's got the Fanatic on it.
That's what that was? I was there yesterday.
Oh, you saw him too? I saw him too, and I didn't realize that's what it was until I got home. I saw on Twitter.
It was right next to me. The lady had him like, oh, that's an interesting cup. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we were there Sunday, and
so I thought
we went Sunday. We went Sunday, and I saw somebody walking to their seat with an ice cream hat. I'm like, what the heck is that? It's white. And then I go on Twitter, and someone was like, I need one of these, and it's a picture of the Fanatic ice cream helmet. They're beautiful. That. Yeah, same.
The line was
we
got
to get tickets.
I went at the
the lines are insane. There's one place you can go for ice cream on the 200 level because not many people sit there. But if you go anywhere on the first level, you're screwed.
That's where I was, and I said,
we were in 2. Where were we? We were in 3. No, we were in 3 something. We were in 313, I believe, or 318, and the lines were not that long. We'll go to a game as a group, and we will get the green helmets.
Interesting.
It just won't be a Friday night because I hate those jerseys.
Oh, by the way, new schedule coming out. I'll be on morning shift.
Oh, beautiful.
Starting June 1st.
Let's go.
Thursday, Fridays.
That's a good thing, right?
Thursday, Fridays off, though. No
That's
Sunday
a good thing, right?
It's a great thing. That means at 2 o'clock, baby, I'm free.
I know that was a concern. You're locked into the good shift.
And and the news of me making my announcement will make it even much better because now I'm free.
Yes.
And close.
Yes. The news is Noel will be challenging me for the fake Amazon championship.
I can't wait to hoist that around my shoulder and then carry it like I'm flexing.
Carry it like a briefcase. Carry it like a dog.
Like a fucking Maltese.
Yeah, Cody carries that title like I carry Hazel.
All right, guys. This has been episode 147 of the PA Turn Pod. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please share. Hit the Instagram. Eventually, I'll make my return. I've been saying that for the last 6 months or so since last year.
Yeah.
I think with this new venture that I'm going to be on, I will be back on just to.
Yeah, maybe I'll end my silence soon. The only thing I've posted recently is my dad's obituary, so that's about it.
My condolences again, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, and we'll figure out the date, Wednesday or Saturday. Next week.
We will need new listeners, by the way. Yeah, we need new listeners because my uncle, who was one of the few people that listened, died. So we got to figure something out here.
Jesus, sorry to hear that again.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Uncle Mike. I visited him today, which was very nice. I'll be visiting my father this weekend. Kind of cool. Kind of weird. Kind of cool though.
It's a good thing to do. I've done it to my uncle as well.
Yeah.
Something we all need to do. But
yeah, pretty cool.
Until next time, we'll see you later. Adios, people.
See ya!